If you're looking at my screen right now, this dumbass look Chuck's got on his face, I hope this is what he looks like right before like a 1993 Scud missile drops on his head. That's about how tired I am of Chuck, the storyline, and everything to go with it. I hope this is the last smile on his face before someone drops a garbage can on his head. Do you remember what movie that reference is from? Drop a comment below. Um, Couple quick things in this episode. Gotta do my normal disclaimer. I watch these on Sunday morning, and while I'm working, show airs tonight. So obviously, if you haven't seen it yet, spoiler alert. Go watch the show, come back, or if you want spoilers, keep on listening. Got some notes here. I'm half-ass paying attention while I work and listen to this show. But a couple things that I'll talk about out of order that I caught. One, during the announcement, Wendy was drinking a bottle of wine. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm at JamesPhillip313. You'll see me post that wine from time to time. It's Justin Isosceles. One of my all-time favorite bottles. First time I had it was in my early 20s. I read about it in Wine Spectator, and I ended up having it at a restaurant called Big Rock Chop House in Birmingham, and I've been hooked ever since. Getson, it's like 40, $50 a bottle. It might be a little bit cheaper depending on the year. And then they actually make a reserve if you can find one of those. I just found one at Total Wine, the new Total Wine out here in Michigan. Those run 125, 150, but great bottle that's often slept on. Anyway, it's cool to see Wendy drinking that. Then another funny part was when Prince is hanging out with his ex. They got that little like sushi rolling machine with the rice. And then as he's like sitting there like rolling it out, I'm like, oh man, Wall Street 1. It brought me back to when Charlie Sheen just got his like baller apartment, and it's like date night, and they're rolling up sushi, and he's making money with Gecko, and everything's going good. And then about 2 seconds later, as I'm thinking that, his wife or ex-wife or whatever actually references Wall Street 1. I'm like, oh, I should have knew that was coming. But yeah, it's bringing back memories there. And then opening the show with Prince running New York. If you remember like the 90s with Puffy, and it'll always be Puffy. If you grew up in the 90s, Diddy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs, no, it's Puffy. If you grew up in the 90s, it's Puffy. But if you remember on MTV, he did that Puffy Runs a City or whatever it was, Diddy Runs a City, back when he ran the New York Marathon. So that brought me back to that as well. Some other stuff here as we dig into the show getting started. Chuck's whole theme is the worst thing in the world is to not get what you want, but to actually get it and then have it, yanked away from you. And that's like, I always reference the dude running for the touchdown, and he's like teasing with the ball back to the defender, and just as he's about to cross the goal line, the defender smacks the ball out of his hand. That hurts enough. Like in this case, Prince actually crossed the goal line and had it pulled away from him. Yeah, I mean that's Chuck's whole theme. We watch that go on here. The whole show, it's irritating. That's why I go back to looking at this silly ass picture of him right now, hoping that a Scud missile blows his ass up. When I built my house like 15 years ago, dealing with the government, like the county, the city, everywhere in between was so painful. It was so inefficient. No one wanted to get anything done, or they seemed to always be working on things that didn't matter. To watch Chuck spend so much time and energy going after Prince right now with all these people, it makes you wonder, like, how much stuff goes on behind the scenes in our government and with politicians where it's just like this. And this is why nothing gets done. It's why I can't drive down the road right now without possibly blowing out a rim, because for every governor we've ever had, they've always said they're going to fix the roads. But our roads are never fixed. But I can go to like Ohio and Wisconsin and Minnesota, and they still have cold temperatures. But their roads don't look like this. The amount of inefficiencies and waste in this country is mind-blowing. And then Chuck's talking to... Oh, no, I got to back up. Ryan made a reference about... I think when she said going to Brown. Can't quote me on that. I think she said Brown. But Brown wouldn't tell you not to do the Molly. They would give you a test kit so you could figure out if you're actually doing Molly or some other stepped on garbage. Um, and I thought that was a pretty good reference because it's one of those things that you can like shelter people from something, or you can help them learn about it and keep them from making mistakes. I like that way of life much better. Chuck goes on. He's meeting with, I think, Miss Brett. Again, don't quote me. I'm half-ass paying attention with the Olympic Committee or something. He's trying to sell her on the, like, Prince is a terrible person type thing. And she's like, look, you don't have anything. Bring me something and I'll do something about it. But she wasn't buying into Chuck's guilty until proven innocent bullcrap, which was nice to see because that's all Chuck cares about right now. It's you're guilty until proven innocent, and if you're not guilty, then I'm going to go manufacture a situation to trip yourself up so I can catch you doing something wrong. Which I'm going back to, man, Chuck needs to catch some hot ones real quick. What else we got? Oh, he's talking to the Olympic Committee lady and going on and on about the bear, and is it called high grading, he was saying, or something. And the bear's full, but they just keep eating because they can. I'm like, look, dude, that's me and everybody else at a Vegas buffet after a couple whiskeys, right? If it's there for the taking, you just keep on, slicing that ribeye off on the end, right? Like, let's just keep going. This ain't Golden Corral, we're in Vegas. Another dumb reference I just didn't care about, and there was a couple really dumb ones in this episode. Phillips got a big win over there, making like 10% on a big play. Taylor gets all competitive and decides, hey, and he was already kind of foreshadowing, is that even the right word, of what was going to happen, where Taylor was going to make an irrational, emotional decision on a big play because there's always big plays just waiting, right? You knew there was a mistake was about to be made. And like, that's not Taylor. They did it to Axelrod. They did it to James St. Patrick in the show Power on Stars. They start the first season or two off with these people that are so far ahead and they're so smart and they're 5 steps ahead of everybody else. They don't make mistakes. Even season 1, episode 1 with Axelrod talking about the Kazowicz play and talking to Ben Kim, and he was so far ahead of everybody else. And then all of a sudden he starts making all these dumb mistakes. They did the same thing to James St. Patrick in Power, and then the writers are doing it to Taylor too. Taylor usually just doesn't mess up. I mean, everyone makes a mistake, but this isn't Taylor, right? It just seems too silly. If you see like how smart Taylor was in his whole show, this isn't them. So it's just, I feel like it's lazy writing to me to manufacture some drama, but you kind of knew what was going to go down, and then it went down. Had a Olympic soccer player pop up in Wendy's office. Felt out of place for some reason, in the same way that when she brought the WWE wrestler, I think it was WWE, I don't watch it, so I don't know, into the office, like you weren't expecting that one. That whole scene just felt really awkward, and it felt out of place. And then you actually haven't seen them on TV in a while. Like, they were in like Subway commercials and all over the place, but it's been a while, so I don't know what happened there. And then all of a sudden, they're on Billions. So, I don't know. That just, something felt out of place. It was just a strange scene to me. I can't figure that one out. But I get on the Wendy side, coaching Olympic athletes that would be very appealing to her. Unfortunately, that ends up getting crushed. So we get out of that scene that felt out of place, and then we go to what else we got here? Watching Chuck and Dave. We already talked about that. Spend a ridiculous amount of time. Man, so crazy. Then we got Taylor making mistakes. We talked about that. Oh, Chuck's boss reference. I'm not the boss, you're not the boss, the situation's the boss. And even that after Dave just doesn't care about his dumbass reference, he continues it. And it's like, not that Not that Dave didn't understand it, they just didn't care. And then Chuck's got to go in a little bit deeper and got to explain a little bit more about this reference. And it's just like, I'm trying to solve a problem right now, not speak in riddles. It's only another, like, man, just stop. I like some of the references, but it's just too much and it's just too stupid. What else we got? Philip, when he popped into Taylor's office, I don't have the exact quote, but he's like, I'm not rooting for you to beat me, but I'm not rooting for you to lose either. And it's like that thing where we're not really competition, we're on the same team. Yeah, we're here to challenge each other and up each other's game, but we shouldn't be sitting over here hoping someone loses, because then it's going to be a zero-sum game for the whole firm. So I thought that was a clever. I mean, you see that a lot, right? You see that everywhere. And I don't need you to lose for me to win. And I just think people have a hard time. There's so much out there, right? I can go off on a tangent, but I feel like the same way about rich people. I grew up without much money, but I never felt like I had to take money from Warren Buffett or Bill Gates to get rich. There's plenty of money out there. I didn't need one of them to lose to get mine. And I think there's so much stuff out there. We just get caught up in this mentality that, you got to lose. There's times when we can both win. It's possible. I don't need you to lose for me to win. That's like a great, great way to look at things. Ryan, when they're at the hotel or wherever they're at, she mentioned something sketch, and the Wag's like, hey, sketch is my forte. Like, if you think of like anything that's like Wag, sketch would be it, right? Venmo stalking, I didn't even know that was a real thing. I don't use Venmo. It's probably one of the reasons why I don't use Venmo. It's every time if you try to sign up for Venmo, then they want all your contacts. It's like, I don't want to give you all my contacts. I just wanted to send one person $20 or something. Why does anyone use that app if people can see what you're doing? Like, I didn't go look at this, so I have no idea. I roughly know some conversations in the past, but why the hell do you want to use an app if anyone can see anything? It's no one's business. And it goes back to this, like, sharing all your stuff in the world on social media, and the world's got to know everything you're thinking and everything you're doing. Like, no, you don't. Dude, when I grew up in the streets, it was the exact opposite of that. You didn't tell nobody nothing. The more people know, the more they can use crap against you. So, I don't understand Venmo. You use it, cool for you. I don't understand nothing about it, so I don't use it. If I'm missing something here, drop a comment and let me know. We already talked about the sushi roller. Ryan's in bed killing a bag of Cheeto Puffs. Man, they're so light and fluffy, you can kill a whole bag of them things and not even think about it, right? Let's see. Ryan irritated me when she first started on a series, and she's been growing on me. They went from this like annoying kind of person to a very rational, level-headed kind of player. Curious to see where they take the character for this one. Ryan saying that hedging's for work, not in life. I mean, that's pretty good thought. In the same sense, it's like you never want to leave yourself completely vulnerable, where you can be manipulated or compromised. And I think it's one thing when you're, again, a relationship, and another thing when you're like married and you're all the way in. But at the end of the day, no one is ever looking out for you more than you. And your ultimate goal in life is to make sure you are secure and you have safety and your life is going to pan out. So while I agree you shouldn't hedge in relationships and all that stuff, you always got to think in the back of your mind, what if something happens? And I get it. You need to go all in, but not at the cost of where if something goes wrong, your entire life is going to get destroyed. So I'm all about, getting all the way through this life as happy as possible. So, divorces are what, like 50% or something like that? I don't know. Maybe it's not the worst thing in the world to have a little bit of hedge somewhere, just in case something happens. Let's see what else we got. We have Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Chuck, finally crushes Prince, gets the Olympics pulled. Um, I thought maybe we had a couple more episodes for this happens, but yeah, it just went down. Um, I don't know. I feel like I just watched the whole, like, what we had, episode 8 or something, like 8 episodes to get here, and then like, all right, that's over. But now I'm thinking, now we can get to it. Which, what do you got? 1 or 2 episodes left to get season 7 lined up. It's like, okay, this Olympic BS is over with. Um, Prince is still trying to reinvigorate his relationship with his wife, ex-wife, and she wants him to put in more effort and come see her more. And at the end, you catch it, you gotta be out there every week, and then it's like every other week, and then it's like, well, not next weekend because there's too much stuff going on, and you kind of see where that's just not going to work out. She's got her thing, he's got his thing. They're on 2 different wavelengths, and good luck for that. I don't know if that's going to work out or not. It looked like Taylor was going to take a hit there, but they end up getting saved. They're still going to take what they said, 10 or 15% hit. And then Philip shows up like, hey, I'm going to help you offload this thing. Again, back to the team player. I don't need you to lose for me to win type of thing. I'm here to help. I'm not your enemy. That's another thing in life, though. I put a post on my Instagram once. A lot of times we can't figure out, like, who the enemy is. We don't know who is here to hurt or who is here to help. And then when you think everyone is here to help, you end up getting played. And then when you think everyone is here to hurt, you never develop any kind of relationships, or you never get to know anybody because you're always thinking someone's here to screw me. It's hard. You don't know who's running game on you and who is here to hurt and who is here to help. Who is the enemy? It's a lot of times we think the wrong people are the enemy. And those are the people that were actually here to help. I've seen, scenarios where people had friends around them for 10 or 20 years, real day one people that ended up doing them a great amount of harm. And it's like, you didn't read, and the new person that's in their life was actually there to help. Like, you just can't figure out who the enemy is. Anyways, what else do we have? Well, you got Prince and Taylor taking hits at the same time. We'll see how the firm survives from that. And that's about all I got for this one. I don't know what the hell season 7's going to turn into now. You saw Prince at the end. Chuck got his big win. Yay. Going back to, I hope a Scud missile drops on his face. And you can tell Prince is about to go Bobby Axelrod. He's got that mean look on his face. Staring off. He wants revenge. How do you get revenge on Chuck? I mean, what does he have to lose at this point? It's not like, what's he at the state level? State AG? He's got money. Like, what are you going to do to him at this point? I'm curious to see what they manufacture to go after Chuck and crush Chuck. Like, what can you take away from him at this point that he really wants or cares about so much? They're going to have to create something or manufacture something at this point. So we shall see. But now we went, 8 episodes of the Olympics BS. That got crushed. We got an episode or 2 of how Prince is going to go after Chuck, and then we get to wait for season 7 to hear more of probably Chuck's bad references. So, well, people on Reddit are saying that Bobby's never coming back. I'm going to hold on to a 1% dream that Bobby comes back for season 7, teams up with Prince, and they throw, what was it, like mall rats or something? They're clerks. You remember those movies where they're like filled up a sock full of quarters? I hope, again, that's what I want Bobby and like Prince to do. Fill up a couple long tube socks full of quarters and just beat the shit out of Chuck. That would be the greatest season 7 ending of all time. Anyways, if I missed something, which I'm sure I missed many things, drop a comment below. Until then, I'm going to catch you on the next one.